Did you ever wonder what the main differences are between a traditional rigid frame tent and an inflatable or an air beam tent? Well, today Dermot and I are going to set them up and show you the differences between
a traditional tent
and an air beam tent. Before we start pitching, here behind us we have our Crua Duo Maxx and our Crua Culla Max, both good tents, both with their strengths and their weaknesses, their pros and their cons.
Traditional tent is better though, in my opinion.
Okay, so first of all we'll cut to the chase. The main difference between them is structure. So an inflatable tent really kind of uses air beam technology, which inflates constantly as you feed in air into the actual tubes. Now, contrary to some beliefs, air beam tents are pretty hard to break. First of all, because they're flexible, and second of all, because the beams themselves are really well protected by robust materials. So puncturing is very, very difficult.
While traditional tents will have steel, aluminum or aluminium poles or fiberglass poles, you'll find the fiberglass poles be the cheapest, your aluminum poles will carry a higher price tag, and your steel poles will often be heaviest. Our Duo Maxx was designed with aluminum or aluminium poles to keep our tent lightweight.
Before we start to put them up, just a note, you'll generally find that air beam tents will be a little bit heavier or bulkier. That's basically because the air beams themselves and the protective covers around them generally are going to be heavier and bulkier than traditional rigid frame tents, or rather the frames of traditional tents. And secondary, because there is extra layers of material around those beams to protect them from punctures.
And this is why a traditional tent is better. It packs down much tighter, and that is why it's the go-to option for a long distance hike.
Okay then, this is where the rubber hits the road. Let's see who can set up the tent faster, shall we?
Sure, let's go.
Action. Oh, my back. Oh.
Ah, yeah.
That's going to be
Right there, Derek.
Everything is A-okay here, Dermot?
I can't feel my fingers in yet.
I'm done now, Dermot. I'll go for a snooze here if you want. Watch the wind there, Dermot.
Yeah.
Oh, watch the wind, Dermot.
Because of all the rushing, I didn't stick out, but hey, we're all right. We're all right.
For those of you out there, Dermot's a bit of a hypochondriac. There's always something wrong with him. So he's blaming this now and he's back. Remember, you have to stake out the front of it now as well, Dermot.
Oh, I know, I know.
Yeah. Shouldn't the door be closed?
I'm worried about the wind here now as well. Where's my guy? My stick. She's done.
A world record time. This is the future, Dermot. Air beam technology, this is the future. And also notice that this is actually an internal tent, but it's working quite well with the windy conditions today. So a traditional thing about air beam technology was that it's not as rigid. Now, in fairness, in extreme weather, you probably have a bit more rigidity in a rigid frame tent. But as you can see, the air beam is doing quite fine here as well. So, like I said, technology, this is the future.
That's fine, well, let's talk about the cost.
Okay, well, to be fair, air beam tents are generally going to be more expensive, either a little more expensive or in some cases a lot more expensive. So this is where you have to, I suppose, weigh up the benefit of the price versus the time. If you're going to be camping quite frequently and you need it to be convenient, quick up, quick down, quite often maybe for shorter weekend trips or whatever the case may be, then I think that's where air beam really comes into its own. If you're going to, I suppose if price is a bigger factor and budget is a bigger factor, or you're going to be staying for more extended periods of time, that's where maybe the rigid pole tents, or that probably is where the rigid pole tent makes more sense really. So it really is, you know, horses for courses. And of course, if lightweight, so weight and bulk is a factor, then your lightweight aluminium tent is going to make more sense generally. So if there are any other videos you'd like to see, any other questions that you'd like us to answer or to address, like Dermot said, stick them in the comments and click up here somewhere, wherever this video, the next video is going to be over Dermot's face, up here, and we'll see you on the next one. Sleep easy. Live well.